Hey there, it's Lacey J, here to ask you to go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, buy yourself some merch, and most importantly, send us a message, a question, fan mail, even hate mail. We'll respond on YouTube. Also, please remember to rate and review the podcast on your favorite app or share it with someone you know who loves Lost. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Lost in My 40s, Season 4, Episode 7. It's called Yeon. It's a Sun and Jin episode. It's a Christy episode. But first, how's everybody doing?
Great.
Ooh, that's a good
Dude,
one,
we're
actually.
on it. You hear that? That was like,
You're trained as well, Ben.
yeah.
Okay, so, Benjamin, please remind us what the rankings were after episode 6. They're a little cray-cray with some
A lot of ties. A lot of ties.
I should probably stop saying cray-cray. It makes me sound old. Gen Z would be like,
Yeah.
yeesh.
Yeah, Gen Z would be like, cringe.
Cringe,
Anywho.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the third from the bottom, we got bitch face Dr. Harper. Second from the
Yes.
bottom, Miles maintains a strong second place, negative 25 points. And we've got the poster child for date rape, Kimi, with negative 28 points. We had a lot of jockeying going on and a lot of ties going on in the top 3. So let's just start with the bronze spot. We've got Juliet edging into third place. We've got a trio of contenders getting silvers this time around. We've got Ben Linus, Desmond, and Hurley, all at 37
Amazing.
points, which puts somebody in the first place with 42 points. It's Dan Faraday.
Woo! Look at you, Daniel. Good job. All right. It's baby time. Christy, take us through Yeon.
All right. Well, this episode opens up on the freighter where Lapidus is walking across the deck carrying a paper bag.
Now, did anyone else think with him carrying a bag that he was just hitting the bottle? He's just carrying it around, drinking while he walks around.
Look what Derek is trying to.
Lapidus.
Did you hear that?
Do we have the correct pronunciation?
He sent us a link the other day, and it
Yes.
was the correct pronunciation of that word, and it says Lapidus.
It looks, well, I mean, if you're looking at it like it was like Latin, I would think it would be Lapidus, but
Right.
Lapidus sounds
And-
better.
I do. I was trying to remember where I saw that name before, and I remember I had a cologne when I was a kid from Ted Lapidus. He was
Oh,
like some
interesting.
fashion designer or something.
Well, this is
Lapidus.
Lapidus because he says so. Kind of like
The writers are wrong.
All right. So Kimi wants to know if Lapidus is ready.
Mhm.
Lapidus says he'll be up in a minute and continues to the room where Saeed and Desmond are being held. Regina is guarding the door. He startles her and then says, "Sorry, I didn't mean to spook you. Captain wanted me to bring these guys some grub. You know your book's upside down."
derp.
She gives him a dirty look, turns the book around, and then Lapidus enters the room. He tells the guys that he's there to check on them and bring them some food.
Could she have been
Yes.
dyslexic?
Yeah, maybe.
Dyslexic?
I don't know. Read upside
That doesn't
down.
mean you read
though.
upside down.
Maybe
That's
just
something
letters are
else.
jumbled.
One of the things that they had me doing when I was in elementary school was finding different ways for me to focus better on stuff, even though they wouldn't let me be diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah,
but
a lot of
one of
women
the-
our age have that issue.
Yeah,
Like
but
me.
one of the things that they suggested was holding the book upside down because it would make me concentrate more on
Oh,
it, I guess.
interesting, because you'd focus harder to read it
Trying to
upside
read
down,
it.
which you can do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So Regina had ADHD then.
Yeah, that's
That's what
exactly
it
it.
By the way, she
I was a
is
kid, they would just give him Ritalin for being hyper, is what they called it.
that,
Yep.
and
Why
that
they
was
didn't
given to a
want
lot of
me-
little boys, but a lot of women
Yeah.
our age were missed ADHD diagnosis and spent their lives misdiagnosed.
Because the hyper
Because-
didn't go along with it in a lot of cases.
Right, because we have what's called inattentive type.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't present the same way as it does in little
Are you
boys.
saying something?
Well, and the
Oh my God.
medication is, I think, why my parents didn't want me to be officially diagnosed is because they didn't want me to be medicated. And in 1984, 85, it wasn't like
The
the
stigma
thing,
around it
you know?
Yeah, man.
was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Regina gives him a dirty look, turns the book around. Lapidus enters the room and tells the guys that he's there to check on them and bring them some food. He asks Desmond how he's feeling, and Desmond says, "Yeah, much better, thanks."
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in the
Saeed
right
wants
year.
to know. Yep. Saeed wants to know why they're being held captive since they had nothing to do with Minkowski's death. And Lapidus says it has nothing to do with that. The captain of the ship is upset that they busted out of sickbay and went into the radio room. Saeed says, "We didn't bust out.
Yeah.
They just went through the door that Saeed assumed Lapidus left open." So Lapidus says, "Why the hell would I do that?" Saeed wants to know if he's been in contact with the island, and Lapidus says no, and he wonders if something happened to their phone. Lapidus dumps a few cans of lima beans onto the bed.
Delicious.
Wow.
Saeed is
thanks.
confused at the food offering, and Lapidus says, "Sorry, we had a little problem in the kitchen. Just stay put, all right?"
A problem in the kitchen.
Saeed insists on speaking to the captain, but Lapidus advises that he doesn't want to do that.
Oh my.
Lapidus knocks on the door and calls to Regina before the doors open for him to leave. On the beach, Sun is sitting by a fire as Jin approaches with some more firewood. He throws some wood on the fire and he sits down next to her and asks her what's wrong. She's worried about Saeed and Desmond not returning yet. Jin thinks that they might return with the freighter. He kisses Sun and says in English that they should be talking about baby names. She tells him that his English is getting better, but no, they aren't talking about baby names because she doesn't want to jinx him. And Jin says, "You mean her. Yeon.
Aw.
I want to name her Yeon." Sun thinks the name is beautiful, but doesn't want to pick a name until they get off the island. Jin says, "Deal," and they shake hands.
Ah.
Damn.
Exactly. Deal.
What? Name him Camp.
So I'm gonna give you a little more on Lapidus here.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Lapidus is actually a surname which is derived from the Latin word lapideus, meaning made of stone, stony.
Oh.
Also from the Latin lapis, meaning stone.
Okay, well, there's
There we
a
go.
preview of our Theories and Questions episode at the end of this season, because we will be talking about character names and their meanings, because many of them are very interesting considering the character. So there you go. I have one less to look up.
So now we are in flash forward number 1. Sun is in a room packing things as she's getting ready to leave. And she goes to put on some lipstick, and suddenly she's overcome with pain. She picks up the phone and dials a number, and a woman speaking Korean says, "Emergency services." Sun says, "I need an ambulance. I'm pregnant and there's something wrong." The camera zooms out to reveal the 6th Oceanic Six member, and we can see that a
What?
heavily pregnant Sun is about to pop, and then we get the lost title screen.
Mhm.
What?
What? What did you
Wasn't
think of that,
locked.
Derek?
So it wasn't Locke then. I was wrong. It was
What
Sun.
wasn't Locke?
The 6th. Because think a couple episodes you asked me who I thought was the last one, and I thought it
Oh,
was
I
Locke.
thought you meant in the box, because you also thought
No.
it could be Locke or Michael in the coffin,
Right.
right?
I mean,
Yeah.
Lock in a Box does make
Lock
the
in
most
a box,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah. It would kind of be like weirdly perfect, but
Yeah.
we'll get to the box again later. But
What's in
yeah,
the
when you saw
box?
what's in the box, yeah, it's Gwyneth Paltrow.
Her head.
So
Gwyneth Paltrow becoming who she became, might be better off with her head in a box.
oh my God, that is not a threat. That is not.
She is
threat.
Looney Tunes, man.
Yeah.
She's goofy.
It's true.
Is she Scientology
she's goopy.
too?
Oh,
She's goopy fruit. Oh my God.
She's
what's
goopy fruit.
What's happening? All right. You guys really have to go get the goopy fruit leggings at shopspacebear.com because they're brilliant.
Now I'm just thinking of him go, "What's in the box?" And she's like, "I don't know, but it smells like my vagina."
Oh my God. Oh, that's her candle. Oh,
It's her
God.
candles, yeah.
Really?
She has
Yeah, she
candles?
has a candle that says, "This smells like my vagina." You didn't know that?
Ugh.
Is it like
Wow.
strange steel vagina?
I
She
don't
had a store
know.
on a tuna boat.
Pig's
Oh my
puke.
God.
Strange.
Derek,
I thought about that in
Yes.
a long time.
when you saw Sun fully pregnant and you realized obviously she's off the island, what did you think of the fact that she's the sixth Oceanic Six?
Well, it makes sense because she had to get off the island or she would die because she's pregnant.
Right. Okay. So if anybody was going to get rescued, it should be her
Yes.
for sure. Okay. Cool. Christy.
All right. So flashback number 1. Jin enters the store.
We should probably stop, obviously, because we said flashback number 1. So I have a criticism about the way that this is written because obviously they don't want you, or okay, I shouldn't say obviously. The way that it's written, it looks as though Jin is trying to get to the hospital to be with Sun, right? We're going to talk about this in hindsight, like we did with Jack's first flash forward. So the thing is, if they reveal to you that she's off the island and that she's the sixth, because we can count them, 6 Oceanic 6, then we have to know that these are flashbacks because Jin couldn't have gotten off the island, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's like they play it as if, oh, that last moment, he's not really there. But I don't understand how anyone was supposed to be fooled by that. If we already know the other 5, there's no way to be like, oh, that's 2 people of the 6, right?
Well, what I read was that Aaron was ambiguous to some people. They didn't know if that was really one of the 6.
Oh, okay.
I'd say
I
probably
can
tell you
for
from-
casual watchers, they probably weren't fucking counting either.
Yeah.
True.
But I can tell you from many,
Oh.
many, many years in the restaurant business, when people call to make a reservation, sometimes they just don't count their fucking children.
Interesting. But
Really?
you read that was actually like something that was
That
going
was the
on
thing,
at the
yeah,
time.
because some people are still ambiguous about Aaron.
Interesting. So I don't remember the way I interpreted it the first time around. I wonder if I was on the Aaron doesn't count bandwagon as well the first time I watched it. Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, otherwise I was kind of like, well, obviously he's not there. All right. So we're going to talk about it as if it is the flashback, and that we've seen the episode. All right. Thank you, Christy.
Okay, so in flashback number 1, Jin enters the store. He's browsing through some toys, and the store owner asks him if he wants help, and Jin says that he's looking for a panda. So the man leads Jin to a giant stuffed animal and asks him if he would like it gift wrapped. And Jin says, no, I've got to get to the hospital. So the shop owner asks if it's for a boy or a girl. Jin says he doesn't know. So the shop owner points out it's okay because everybody loves a panda.
That's true.
Jin's phone rings. He answers and says he's on the way. And as he's leaving, the store owner wishes him luck. So yeah, they're definitely trying to make it look like Jin's trying to get to Sun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I really, for some reason, I cannot remember what I thought the first time I saw this. And it's really weird because I remember a lot of those first times really clearly. And this one I don't. But yeah, I could see
I was
that.
thrown off at first.
Were you considering, like Aaron's not one of
Not
them?
counting Aaron, yeah.
Did you think I was tricking you because I counted him? Or did you just, I
It
mean,
just
maybe.
slipped my mind, but
I see. Okay.
the way
all
they
right.
did it, though, it just seemed like legit, like he's rushing to get that panda so he can make it to the hospital.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe I should have deceived
But
you
each
and
time
not.
it happens, it's less believable because things that happen.
Right. Okay. Well, in hindsight, maybe I should have tricked you and not named Aaron one of the Oceanic Six. Oops. Should we just scrap the whole thing and just stop the podcast now? Did I ruin it?
It's done. We're done.
Between Ben's reveal last week and
Oh
yours.
my
Yeah.
God.
I
It's all
know,
over.
I
It's
know.
crumbling
Yeah.
right before our eyes. All right. Christy.
I accidentally
Go back.
revealed the sexuality of a secondary character, and it's like, no, this production is over.
Yep. Ruined it all.
They're all in purgatory.
Oh God.
So back on the beach, we are inside Sun and Jin's tent. Jin is sleeping, and Sun comes running into the tent to tell him that Kate and Jack are back. Outside the tent, Jin asks in English what happened. And Kate mentions that Charlotte knocked her out while she was on her way back from Locke's camp. She's real salty about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sun wants to know why she would do that. So Kate says, I guess she didn't want to have to explain why she was on her way to the poison gas factory.
Oh,
Juliet
boy.
told Jack that it was a power station.
Mhm.
Oh, boy.
I've had a lot of Taco Bell lately. I myself sometimes have been feeling lately like a poison gas factory.
Oh, my God. He did fart like 15 times in a row earlier today, and it was
That's
weird.
awesome.
It was
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
very strange.
Yeah.
I I have something Lost related here. In this scene, and I mean, she's done this obviously a million times in the show, but I finally looked it up. Sun refers to Jin by his first name, Jin-soo, and then she says she afterwards. So she says Jin-sushi, which sounds funny, sushi. But
Ginsu knife, yeah.
I looked it up, and adding she, S-H-I, at the end of someone's first name in Korea is a like a sign of respect. So that's that. There you go.
Like Daniel-san.
Oh,
That's
God.
Japanese.
yes.
but
So maybe the same
same
thing,
kind
but
of
with
thing. Yeah.
Japanese. Yeah, there you go. So many fun facts with Lacey and
Wax on.
Derek.
Black off.
All right, so Sun wonders why Juliet would lie, and Kate takes a shot at her. Force of habit. Kate is like super fucking bitter here about Juliet. And it's
Yeah.
really funny that she's bitching about Juliet lying out of force of habit when that's
Seriously.
like Kate's MO.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's just salty
her-
about Jack.
She's just a
She-
brat.
Jelly.
She doesn't want to have him, but she doesn't want her to have him either. Not
I
nice.
send her
Poor
to the
Jack.
jelly school.
Yeah, exactly.
So Kate thinks that Daniel and Charlotte deactivated the gas to gain brownie points, and Sun wants to know if Kate thinks that they're going to actually rescue them. Kate said, in all the time they've been here, they've talked about a lot of things, and none involved rescuing us.
Well,
Ooh.
that's true.
Except for when Daniel first landed. That's
Yeah,
the first
he
thing he
did.
said.
I'm here to rescue you.
I'm here to rescue you.
So
You're
Kate,
right.
I'm here to rescue.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
yeah, they were still like lying at that point.
On the freighter, Desmond is in bed, and he wakes up to see Saeed eating out of a can. They say good morning to each other, and Saeed says, I hope they resolve their kitchen issues.
Oh my God.
Then Desmond sees a piece of paper that's been slipped through the door vents and asks Saeed what it is. And Saeed says, it's a note.
Ooh. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
3 days ago, when I was in Locke's camp, Ben claimed he had a spy on this boat. So Saeed unfolds the piece of paper and it says, don't trust the captain.
What?
Oh, fuck. What's going on now?
You know, say it was written almost in like block letters. It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
nobody writes like that.
All caps.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Well, it
all
was meant
caps.
to throw somebody off. You don't want anybody recognizing your handwriting if somebody...
They
Oh.
should have taken letters from the newspaper like serial killers
Exactly.
do.
Yeah, all the newspapers that they get out there on the ship every day.
Yeah.
Sure, they have some on there somewhere.
Dharma's like
They have
dropping them.
books.
Yeah,
Dropping them on the ship.
enough to be able to piece together. Don't trust the captain. I'm sure.
Yep.
Okay.
So we are at day 96 on the island now, and at the beach camp, Sun approaches Faraday while he's trying to fix his satellite phone. She introduces herself, and Daniel reciprocates and then asks if there's something he can help her with. Sun says, I'm 2 months pregnant. And Daniel says,
It
congratulations.
wasn't me.
Sun wants to know if he's there to rescue her or not. Daniel hesitates, but he finally admits, the thing is, it's not really my call, Sun. When Sun asks
Yikes.
him whose call it is, Daniel just stares at her.
Hmm.
Further down the beach, Jack and Jin are eating, and Jin asks Jack to pass the cereal in English. Jack says, pretty good English, Jin. Jin thanks him and says he understands more than he can speak before adding, Sun teach me, Sawyer too. Sun is better. Just then, Sun walks up and Jack asks how she's been feeling. She says she's good and that the morning sickness has stopped. Jack leaves, and Jin asks if she wants breakfast in English. Sun starts speaking to him in Korean. She tells him to do what she says and not ask questions. So he
Hot.
immediately asks, what's wrong? She ignores him and says, you need to find food for 2 days. Meet me at the tent in 20 minutes. To which he asks more questions. Why? What's wrong? So she tells him that they're going to
You are not
Locke's camp.
listening, sir.
No. Sun is now rummaging through the medical supply tent. Juliet enters and wants to know what she's doing. Sun says she's looking for more prenatal vitamins. Juliet questions her and she's like, why do you need more? You should have 20 left. Are
I
you
love that
planning a
Juliet's
trip?
like counting the days
Oh,
and the
man.
tablets too.
Yeah,
her
okay.
face when she says the way she says it, are you planning a trip? Like her face is great there.
Yeah. This whole scene is great. These two like facing off. It's like a season 1 Jack Locke sort of thing where they are just like, "Argh," and I love it.
Their hackles are both up.
Definitely.
So Sun replies, please just give me the vitamins.
oh boy.
Juliet presses her, and Sun admits that she's going to Locke's camp because she doesn't trust the people from the freighter. Juliet says, whether you trust them or not, you can't go there. Locke doesn't want to leave the island, and I've told you, Sun, pregnant women, they don't survive here. Sun confirms that she's aware, so Juliet says, you don't believe me. Look, I know that I've been less than truthful about certain things since coming here, but I promise you, Sun, I promise you, I'm not lying about this. After everything you've confided in me, I should have at least have earned your trust. Sun takes the vitamins from Juliet and says, Claire's baby is fine. I feel fine. All I have are your stories that I'm going to get sick. I'm going to do what's best for me and my baby because no, I don't trust you.
Damn.
Flash forward number 2. It's at the hospital, and we see a nurse taking Sun to a room while telling her that she's going to be okay. A second nurse asks the first, is that? And the first replies, yes, Oceanic 6. Now in the room, the nurse is taking Sun's jewelry off, and she's trying to take off her wedding ring, and Sun yells at her to stop. The nurse explains that they remove all jewelry because of swelling. Sun says again, no, not my ring. A doctor enters the room and introduces himself as Dr. Bay. He's a handsome young man, too.
Dr. Bay.
He's on duty for Dr. Park.
Mm-hmm.
Sun is distressed, so the doctor has the nurse give her something for the pain. The doctor barely examines Sun, and he tells her that the baby is in distress, but he doesn't know why yet. He wants to know if there's anyone they should contact for her. Sun is loopy, and she just keeps mumbling for them to get her husband.
It's interesting because it's like Jack's episode when they first introduced the flash forward and you don't know it yet. And he is yelling in the hospital at the new head of surgery or whatever, go upstairs, and if I'm drunker than my father is right now, whatever. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is the same. And if you're not counting Aaron, then it's sort of the same little trick they're doing there.
So right into flashback number 2. Outside the store, Jin is rushing with the panda to get a taxi. His phone rings and he answers it again to say that he's on the way. A man walks by and accidentally hits Jin, who drops the cell phone, yelling, hey, what is this? As he tries to pick it up, a motorcycle runs over it.
Oh my
He
God.
should have had one of them old Nokias.
Yeah. You
those
can't break
things-
them.
Yeah, buddy.
The ones with the interchangeable faces and stuff like that. Yeah, I had that phone.
Me too. I think
Look it up,
everybody did
kids.
at one point.
It's probably in a fucking museum at this point.
Yeah. So after he picks up the phone, he sees that someone has gotten into his cab with the panda and leaves. So Jin smashes the cell phone on the ground and runs back inside of the store screaming for another panda.
He actually runs after the guy and says, I'm going to catch you and tear off your head. I thought that was kind of funny.
He said, I'm going to tear off your head?
Yeah. That for me was the giveaway. That this was a different Jin. This was Jin at a different time. Was
Yeah, this was
angry
angry
Jin. The
Yeah.
angry
That's
Jin.
a really good point. Okay. Yeah. Derek, when did you get suspicious?
about that time. Plus, the cell phone
Okay.
was old, so it wasn't because by then it was. Because
Okay.
when was the flash forward in like 2010, 2011 or something? Or what is it
No,
supposed to be?
No.
Oh,
It's
pregnant. Never
just-
mind. 2000.
No. So,
Yeah.
right. So, anything in the past could be anywhere before
Right.
2004 when they crashed. This would be when they got off the island, and then she would have
2005-ish.
had to be pregnant. Right. Exactly. So somewhere in 2005. Yeah.
That looked like a 2000 phone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because it came out, I mean, we would be watching this in like 2007,
Yeah.
8. But yeah, the timeline in the show, it would have been about 2005.
So Jin runs back inside the store screaming for another panda, and the store owner tells him that there's only one left and it's on hold. Jin wants to know how much for the panda. Store owner picks up a dragon and says it's good luck. It's the year of the dragon. Jin puts a wad of money on the counter and says, I need the panda.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
So
you're
back to
right.
the
You're right. He
present.
really is that angry, scary
Mhm.
Jin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so this had to be 2000, 2001, because that's the year of the dragon.
Oh, is that what he said?
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought he said in the year of the dragon, it will bring luck. Did I write something different there?
Owner picks up now. It just says it brings good luck. It didn't say
Yeah,
anything about the
I
year,
think-
but in the show he did say it was the year of the dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, he did? Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, and it roared a couple times too.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I would like
that
that
was
toy.
the year
actually.
2000 then.
Back to the present, we have Kate drawing Sun and Jin a map, which is so ridiculous.
They got a couple of cartographers in this group.
Seriously. She says, once you hit the stream, you want to head northwest, pretty much in a straight line for about a day and a half.
Good God.
I'm going to have to tell Jack, but I'll give you guys a nice long head start. Sun says she'd tell him herself, but Jack would never understand. Kate agrees. They hug and say goodbye just as Juliet walks up and says this is a bad idea.
Mhm.
Sun snaps at her and says, what concern is it of yours? Juliet turns to Jin and asks him if he understands his wife's condition. She asks Sun to translate for her, and Sun says no. Juliet tries anyway and says, your wife is very sick. If she doesn't get off this island in 3 weeks, she will die. Sun tells Jin not to mind Juliet and tries to walk away. Juliet's pursuing them, and she says, if you let her go, your wife is in danger, Jin. Danger.
Will Robinson.
Jin replies in English, wherever Sun go, I go.
Oh my God, tears. This man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He's not that old Jin anymore.
Nope.
Sun walks away, so Juliet blurts out, Jin, your wife had an affair.
Boom.
What?
Bam.
What?
How would Jin have learned
shit.
that word, though?
He
Affair?
understands more than he can say. That's what they
Yeah.
set that up. They set that was the seed that they planted earlier so
Yeah,
that
but-
you could believe that he could understand this.
But affair, that's.
No, I agree.
I could see
That's
the
a
scene if he didn't understand it.
complicated
She
word.
had to like act it out.
Yeah, your wife was doing this.
Bumping
Oh
ugly.
my God.
Yes.
But
And he looked
yeah,
like Jeff Bezos.
oh my
Yeah.
God. I agree with you, Christy. Yeah, that seems like a complicated word, but they tried to write cover for that.
Yeah. Sun turns back around and stares daggers at Juliet.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Jin says, what? Juliet keeps going. Sun was with another man. She thought the baby was his. Jin looks at Sun as she walks back towards them. And Sun slaps the fuck out of Juliet. And
You know
turns to
what?
Jin.
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Yep.
I'm
it was.
watching it. I'm cheering. I'm like, slap that bitch. Slap her. Now, granted,
Yeah.
I love Juliet, but, holy hell.
Slap at a bitch.
You sound like a leprechaun. Jin, looking absolutely furious, turns and heads back to the beach camp. Sun runs after him speaking Korean, saying, Jin, talk to me. Let me explain. It was a long time ago. Look at me. Just look at me. I understand you're angry and I have no excuse, but please let me explain. Bernard walks up because he's fucking oblivious and asks Jin if he's going fishing. He noticed the son crying finally, and he apologizes for interrupting, and Jin ignores it, and he agrees to go fishing. So the two guys walk away, leaving Sun standing alone on the beach.
So the first thing is maybe Bernard just thought that she was ragging on him the way Rose always rags on him. So he's like, let me get him the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go save him from this lady.
The other thing, I do kind of like the like him returning to being like the fisherman. Like that, he was from the fisherman's family before he met her. So there's sort of a symbolism there of like him going back to being the fisherman now that he's like leaving her. Yeah.
Derek thinks that's deep.
Yeah.
So now they're in the boat that's in the water, and Bernard holds up his hand to show his wedding. Yeah, duh. So Bernard holds up his hand to show his wedding ring while saying that they're the only two married men on the island. Jin says in English, married. And Bernard replies and says, yeah, well, no, not to each other, no.
Is that why you brought me out in this boat?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Sure got a pretty mouth.
So he's laughing.
I think we got ourselves a sow here.
Oh, my God.
You stay in the boat much longer, we're going to have some gin and juice.
Whoa. Go watch Deliverance, kids.
Ned Beatty.
So Bernard says, yeah, you got it. It's not easy, is it? I mean, it's wonderful, but let's face it. Every decision that you make takes twice as long because you always got to talk them into it.
Oh.
Rose has cancer. She's sick, dying. Well, at least she was dying. She says she's better now. She says it's this place, the island. But when the camp split up, I was sure that she'd want to go with Locke. Why would she want to leave the island and risk getting sick again? Jin wants to know why they stayed with Jack if that's the case, and Bernard tells him that Locke is a murderer.
Jack is a failed murderer. I mean,
Jack is only not a murderer because the fucking gun wasn't loaded.
Yeah.
What do you? Yeah. Okay. Anywho,
I'd actually rather if I'm gonna choose between two different leaders, one who murdered and one who failed at murdering but tried it. I'm gonna go with the one who actually accomplished the task. Jesus.
So
not really
Jack.
How I determine who to follow.
How many murders are there? How many successful murders?
Successful murderer versus unsuccessful.
Because we have two unsuccessful murderers. You remember the marshal? And the shooting in the fucking chest thing. That was
So Bernard starts talking about karma, and he says, you make bad choices and bad things happen to you. But if you make good choices, then good. But before he can finish, Jin catches a fish. Bernard celebrates and says, wow, look at that. You see? Now that's karma. We must be the good guys, huh? I don't think that's exactly how it works.
I don't think that's
Bernard.
karma.
Yeah, first of all, that's not
just
at
cause
all.
and effect. You're fishing.
That's just how fishing works.
Yeah, that's how.
Sometimes.
A successful fisherman.
Well, maybe once again, Bernard, his true motive was not fishing. He was a little sweet on
Jin.
I think.
Oh, God.
Remember last week we had a quick conversation about overarching themes, good guys, bad guys. Is anyone good? Is anyone bad? Is it all ambiguous? And I said this week that line, was going to come up where he says, "Oh, we must be the good guys," and in the show he says that, and then it immediately the scene changes to what's their boat called? The Katana. Out on the freighter. Kahana, thank you. Yeah. What's katana? What's that, like a sword?
Yeah. Katana is a samurai blade, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Kahana on the ship. And so it's like, oh, we must be the good guys. And then they flip to, oh, is this now the bad guys? Is that what we're saying?
I think Kahana is a beach in Maui, isn't it? Or a beach on Maui?
I don't
Probably.
know.
I think it is.
Get us, talk about the freighter, Christy, and I'll look up Kahana.
Okay. So on the freighter, Desmond and Saeed start hearing a repeated tapping noise. It's annoying, and Desmond wants them to fix whatever the bloody hell is causing it. But Saeed doesn't think it sounds mechanical. He thinks it sounds purposeful, which, as someone who's ex-military, you would think that Desmond would have figured that out. It kind of seems to me
Morse
like it's
code.
probably Morse code. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Well, and
immediately what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and Saeed as well. I mean, he can fix every fucking gadget in the world, and he knows how to do
He was
everything.
in the military
so,
as well. So
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, right.
Republican Guard. So
Of
both
course.
of them are just falling down on their training.
still lima beans.
Just then, Dr. Ray enters the room to say that the captain is ready to meet them.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ray leads them
Kahana.
up onto deck. What?
I said Kahana. There's a Kahana Bay and Kahana Beach in Hawaii.
Okay.
I wonder if that's
It
where
was
they were
Bay.
filming.
It was Bay. That's what I'd heard.
Anywho's, keep going.
Ray leads them onto the deck, where they notice that the helicopter's gone. When Saeed asks about it, he's told that Lapidus had to run an errand to the island.
Was he like getting a pack of
Desmond-
cigs or something?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. More lima beans.
Yeah.
gotta pick up a sixer, you know.
Desmond notices that Regina is on the second level deck, and she is draped in chains.
What
Oh,
the hell?
uh-oh. This doesn't look good.
So random.
Yeah,
It was like a
Saeed-
really, really bad book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clearly. Saeed wants to know what Lapidus is doing, but Dr. Ray says he has no idea. And Regina is about to jump off the fucking ship.
Yeah.
Desmond starts running towards her. She jumps.
Bye.
Desmond and Saeed both run to the side of the ship to look for her. And they're both screaming at everyone to help her, but the crew just kind of stands around.
There's
Yeah, there's
nothing
nothing they
you
could have
can
done.
do.
No,
They're gonna
you're not going to
sink
get
like
her out
a
of there.
fucking stone, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still would have had a reaction. You know?
I can imagine.
Yes.
Yeah, if Jin were there, he might have tried to swim after her because he did try to catch a boat swimming before, so he might try
True.
to
Yeah.
catch a drowning person.
But yeah, like they're screaming like, get a rope. Like, what are you going to do? Like,
Yeah,
put the rope down to the bottom of the
she's
ocean,
sink-
hope she
yeah.
takes the
Yeah.
chains off and then
she's
grabs
gonna
it.
sink faster than anything you're gonna throw after her right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
she's
she's
gone.
gone.
She
She's
ain't
gone,
Houdini,
dude.
So
Right. Well, maybe
And obviously,
she,
she
is, maybe.
didn't want to
Yeah.
come back up. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was. That seemed like a
Hence
pretty
the
final
chains.
just like a
decision.
random scene though. It's
yeah.
weird.
It is.
So
yeah.
a man's voice starts yelling over them, and he says, "It's over. She's gone. Everybody get back to your posts. That was an order." Then he walks over to Desmond and Saeed and says, "I'm Captain Galt. I suppose you two have a few questions."
Yeah. Number one, what the fuck?
Galt asks what he can do for them, and Saeed says, "Let's start with why a woman just jumped over the side of your ship and you did nothing to stop it." Galt says he didn't intervene because he didn't want to lose anyone else. He explains that some of his crew have been dealing with a heightened sense of cabin fever.
Wow.
He thinks the closer they are to the island, the worse it is. Saeed wonders why they don't turn around, and Galt says, "I've tried, but we have a saboteur on board, and he's done one hell of a job on my engines. They've just got
Almost
to
like a
get Saeed
carpenter.
down there."
I know, right?
Carpenter.
Oh yeah.
And he
Saeed had
said,
that-
"I've got my crew working around the clock to repair them." Saeed wants to know if they'll take his people home once the ship is fixed. Galt says his orders are to move to safer waters. Saeed wants to know who gave the orders, though he's sure Galt won't tell him. Unexpectedly, Galt is not interested in keeping secrets, and he tells him it's Charles Widmore's boat.
Oh.
Desmond
Okay.
is shocked. And Galt says,
yeah.
"Oh, that's right. You know him."
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God. What the fuck is going through Desmond's head right now?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Galt leads Saeed and Desmond into the captain's stateroom, where he pulls out a metal box and asks them if they know what it is. Saeed says it's a digital flight recorder, otherwise known as a black box. And Galt says that's exactly what it is. Now here's the funny thing. This black box comes from Oceanic Flight 815.
Oh.
A salvage vessel recovered it from the bottom of the ocean.
What?
It took a considerable amount of Mr. Widmore's resources to procure it. It was found with the wreckage of the plane, along with all 324 dead passengers.
What?
Oh.
He turns to Saeed and says, "That's not the complete story, as you are well aware, Mr. Jarrah, given the fact that you're standing here breathing. The wreckage was obviously staged.
What?
Now, can you imagine what kind of resources and manpower go into pulling off a feat of that magnitude? Faking the recovery of a plane crash? Putting 324 families through a grieving process based on a lie? But what's even more disturbing, where exactly does one come across 324 dead bodies?
You want a
Oh.
toe? I can get
I
you
mean,
a toe.
a cemetery.
Yeah.
And that, Mr. Gerard, Mr. Hume, is just one of the many reasons why we want Benjamin Linus.
Oh.
Wow.
Dear.
Wow.
What do you
On
think of
the
that, Derek?
Yeah.
What?
What do you think of that? They just claimed that Ben Linus faked the plane crash.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. Why?
Why is a really fucking good question. We'll get there.
On the beach, Juliet sits down next to Sun and apologizes for outing her secret, but she says she had to stop her any way she could. Sun says it wasn't her place. Juliet's apologetic, but she insists it's the best course of action to get off the island. Sun asks, "You want to leave?" Juliet replies, "More than anything. I don't know if that boat out there is the answer or not, but it's something. I need to go home. So do you. Sun, in about 3 weeks, you'll be in an almost constant state of nausea. A week after that, you'll experience shortness of breath that won't go away. A week after that, you'll lose consciousness and slip into a coma. And then, Sun, you will die. And when your heart stops beating, so will the baby's. And that, Sun, is why it's my business, because you are my patient. If you go, you will die, and your baby will never be born." I was so
Whoa.
touched during this scene because she's clearly very passionate about wanting to save Sun and the baby.
Yeah.
And you can see that Sun is pretty touched by it too.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, she goes from like this uber bitch that deserves a slap across the face to, oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Your motivations are clearer and hard to not accept, right?
Flash forward number 3. Dr. Bay is explaining to Sun that she has to have a C-section. Sun is protesting and saying, "Not until Jin." The doctor insists that they get her into surgery now and says her husband is not there, but they cannot wait. Sun thinks she sees Jin walk by and she calls out to him. The nurse yells that the baby's crowning all of a sudden, so I guess the
Just like,
C-section isn't
Wow, for
happening.
C-section
Yeah.
crown. Yeah.
Mhm.
Seriously.
Suddenly, the desperate and emergent reason for the C-section disappears, and the doctor is able to deliver the baby right there.
Yay!
It doesn't take her a whole lot of pushing either.
No.
That thing slides right on
No,
out.
this
Yeah,
is
it
what
did.
happens when you got Dr. Bebe.
They wrap the little one up and hand her to Sun, and Dr. Bay says, "Congratulations, you have a baby daughter."
Oh.
Back on the freighter, Ray leads Saeed and Desmond to a new room in a quiet part of the ship. He asks what they think of the captain. Saeed says he was surprisingly forthcoming. Ray says Galt tells it like it is, but just don't piss him off. Ray opens the door and cockroaches scatter. There's a giant blood stain on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't want that to be my
That
room.
looks like an
No,
execution, like somebody was just shot in the
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
That looks
Or
like
some
the
brain
rooms
matter.
that Negan was putting people in to
Wow.
like torture them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in his compound, he'd throw them in those
Yeah.
prisoner rooms. That's
Honestly,
what
it looks like a suicide. It looks like a suicide blood stain to me because
It does.
when
because
when
it's
you
up.
put the gun in your mouth, you point it up, and the blood stain was. I don't know. I'm not a fucking scientist.
Well, we just watched one person commit suicide, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
It could make sense that there is another.
So Ray is upset that the blood is still there, and he calls to a man who's mopping the floor down the hallway. "Hey, Johnson, is that you? Mop this up." Johnson says he has to go up on deck, but Ray insists that he mops up the room. As Johnson walks towards them, his face breaks through the shadow, and it's Michael fucking Dawson.
What? Walt!
Right? Saeed pretends like he's never met him, and he introduces himself. Desmond has no idea who he is and also introduces himself. Saeed says, "Nice to meet you, Kevin," and they shake hands.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, that was a reveal.
The look on Saeed's face and the look on Michael's face, like you could see it. They were having this conversation like, I got you. Don't bust me. We're good. Like I saw all of that, and it was so fucking great. And then, of course, luckily Desmond is completely oblivious because he never met Michael.
But then you also
You
think
never meet
that
Michael?
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
But then
Okay.
you look at this scene and okay, Saeed is like, oh yeah, I know who you are, whatever.
Yeah.
And then a few episodes ago, we find out Saeed was working for Ben as well. So it's like,
Oh, in his flash forward, we
Yeah,
found out
yeah.
that he
what's Ben
was
got
working
going
for
on?
Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Back on the beach, Sun is in her tent and Jin comes in with food. She's surprised and happy to see him and immediately tries to explain herself again. Jin says it doesn't matter what she has to say. She pleads for him to listen when Jin says, I know why you did it. I know the man I used to be. Before this island, I withheld my affections, and I know that whatever you did to that man. His actions caused this, so I forgive you. Sun smiles at him through her tears. Jin mentions going to Locke's camp, but Sun says she doesn't want to go there anymore. When he asks her why, she tells him that Juliet was convincing and they need to get off the island. Sun says, I thought I had lost you. And Jin says, I love you too, and you will never lose me.
This
Wow.
wasn't written down here, but he also asked if the baby was his.
Oh, you're
Yes.
right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You're
Yeah.
right that he did. Yeah, that was quite a moment. I'm
Yeah.
glad
Go
he.
on Mari to find that out.
Yeah, I'm glad. Oh my god.
I can see his.
Your
it's not
seventh
his.
DNA test. It's
He gets
not
up and
his.
starts dancing.
Oh my god.
Flashback number 3. Jin arrives at the hospital with the panda. There's a man in a suit standing next to the door where the baby is born. Jin tells the man that he represents Mr. P Automotive and is there to bring a gift for the ambassador's granddaughter. The man asks him to wait there, but before he walks away, Jin asks if the baby is a boy or a girl. The guard tells him it's a boy, so Jin ties a gender stereotype blue ribbon on the panda. When he's let into the room, he hands over the toy and says, Mr. Ambassador, this panda is a symbol of Mr. Peck's eagerness to do business in the great country of China. Please accept his congratulations. The ambassador says to tell Mr. P that he'll call. Before leaving, Jin gets a glimpse of the ambassador's daughter holding her baby. On his way out, the nurse is surprised he's leaving so soon. Jin tells her it wasn't his baby. So she says, well, maybe someday. And Jin responds, don't rush me. I've only been married for 2 months.
So then we know, if you hadn't figured it out already.
Flash forward number 4. Sun is
This
putting her
still
wedding
stings,
ring on.
though.
Yeah. Sun is putting her wedding ring back on in their apartment, and she's getting ready to go out when the doorbell rings. She answers the door to find Hurley standing there.
Hey.
Hey!
They hug, and she says, I can't believe you came all this way. Hurley wants to know if anyone else is coming, but Sun says no. She takes him to the baby, who Hurley thinks is awesome.
Mhm.
She offers to let him hold her, and Hurley's worried about his 2 left hands, but she says that she trusts him, and she hands him the baby. Hurley says, wow, she looks just like Jin. Sun agrees with a somber look on her face. Hurley suggests they go see him, and Sun replies, of course. Now we're in a cemetery where Hurley and Sun are holding the baby, and they approach Jin's tombstone.
Hmm.
Sun, crying, kneels down and says, Jin, you were right. It's a girl. The delivery was hard on me. The doctor says I was calling out for you. I wish you could have been there. Jin, she's beautiful. Yeon, I named her just like you wanted. I miss you so much. I miss you so much. Lost title screen, end of episode.
Oh, fuck.
And on the
And now I
tombstone,
needed tissue.
What? Jin is
and on the
dead?
tombstone, it says 9/22/2004. What the hell is that all about?
Yeah. So you noticed that. I'm really glad that you did. So do you know what
I
that
actually
date
paused it and
is?
took a picture of it.
So
Goes.
that is the date of the
The
crash.
crash.
Yeah.
Right.
So is he dead or are they faking it?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a sad scene.
Yeah. Dusty in your apartment that day?
Yeah, it was. I had to dust it the next day.
Anybody ready for some fun facts?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Today, I have the top 10 facts about pandas. Care of the World Wildlife Foundation. If you would like to donate to the World Wildlife Foundation, you can support them at WWF.org. All right, here we go. Number 1.
Did you say WWF?
World Wrestling Federation?
Nope, they
World
made them
Wildlife
stop doing that.
Foundation.
Yeah, I remember all that big hoopla back then.
About the using the
WWF,
same.
WWE thing, yeah. So now they're WWE.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Right. Although I wouldn't mind like a panda wrestling league. That might be kind of cool.
They just roll
All right.
around eating eucalyptus. Or those are those koalas that do that.
I think that's
Bamboo
koalas.
is pandas.
Koalas.
Yeah. All right. So, number 1, pandas have excellent camouflage for their habitat, believe it or not. The giant panda's distinct black and white markings have 2 functions, camouflage and communication. Most of the panda, its face, neck, belly, rump, is white to help it hide in snowy habitats. The arms and legs are black, helping it to hide in the shade. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Number 2, their eyes are different from normal bears. Like domestic cats, giant panda bears have vertical slits for pupils.
I had no idea.
I know. Cubs, number 3, cubs are well protected in their first month. Mother pandas keep contact with their cub nearly 100% of the time during their first month, with the cub resting on her front and remaining covered by her paw, arm, or head.
A helicopter parent.
I know. How'd you like to not put your baby down for a month? Fuck that. All right. Number 4, pandas can swim and even climb trees. Giant pandas are good swimmers and excellent tree climbers. At 5 months old, giant panda cubs learn how to climb, sometimes practicing by climbing on their mama. Number 5, a helping hand. They have an extended wrist bone that they use like a thumb to help them grip food. It's weird. Why would your wrist evolve that way and not just evolve another thumb? I don't know, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 6, they spend a lot of their day eating. Giant pandas spend 10 to 16 hours a day eating bamboo.
Jesus.
Oh my God. It's just round the clock, I guess.
It's pretty
Eating or
nutritionally
sleeping.
poor, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Number 7, bamboo is critical to their diet. Pandas need at least 2 different bamboo species in their range to avoid starvation. So there you go. You were right, Ben. Number 8, but they do occasionally eat something other than bamboo. A panda's diet is 99% vegetarian, which mostly includes bamboo roots, stems, shoots, and leaves. However, their digestive system is typical of a carnivore. So the remaining 1% of their diet can include eggs, small animals, and carrion. Pandas are also known to forage in farmland for pumpkin, kidney beans, wheat, and domestic pig food. So I guess that means they're robbing farmers. Number 9, pandas sometimes do handstands when they pee. Sometimes. You didn't see that one coming, did you?
No, not at all.
Sometimes, to mark their scent, pandas climb a tree backward with their hind feet until they're in a full handstand upside down, enabling them to leave their scent higher up. Number 10.
All right.
They like to keep it regular. This is my favorite fact because on average, pandas poo 40 times a day,
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ.
which is
Good
honestly rookie numbers.
It's like a cow.
Yeah.
It's like me. All right, guys, I'm going to take a poop break and then we'll come back for best and worst moments. Shall we do some best and worst moments?
Sure.
Yeah.
Christy, why don't you start?
Kevin fucking Johnson.
Yep.
That's the best moment, huh?
That's one of them. Jin bringing Sun dinner and the 2 of them making up was just a really beautiful scene.
Yeah, that was sweet.
I also really, really loved Juliet's apology to Sun, her desire to take care of her patients, and Sun finally fucking getting it.
Yeah.
For me, the worst moment was really just the saddest moment was in the cemetery and finding out for sure that Jin died.
Do you think it's for sure? Or do you think they're lying?
Well, I don't know.
I
think
guess
if you,
we'll
yeah,
find
I mean, I
out.
look at it as
You
like
all know. I don't know.
if you're trying to pass off something like that, like you're trying to make the entire world believe that somebody's dead, then you'd visit their grave.
Right.
So
That's
who knows?
True.
I
But
honestly
also-
really don't remember so much of
I really don't either.
Oh, wow.
Because I mean, I only watched it back when it originally aired. This is
Right.
my first rewatch, so I don't remember a lot.
Yeah,
me
you
neither.
have a little more than Derek. Same with Ben. I'm the only one that could like answer the question outright. But it definitely sparked some talk back when it aired. Is he dead? I guess maybe I missed the whole "is Aaron one of the Oceanic Six" talk. I'm sure I knew it at the time, but yeah, is he really dead? My best moment was when the baby was born. Because now we know that she made it off the island and she didn't die and the baby didn't die. And then, of course, the worst moment is in the cemetery. It's tough. It's emotional. Even if you think that it's not true, it's still, he's not there. He obviously didn't get to be one of the 6 for some reason. And so now she's alone with her baby. Well, she has
Fucking
her
reading it, I got choked up.
Yeah, tough scene. Derek, what
Pretty
about
much
you?
everyone who's not the 6 is dead or is going to be dead. So
Why do you say that?
I don't know, because that's the Oceanic Six. Are you saying maybe Jin could be part of like another group?
No, what I
And then
meant
maybe
was
still on
like,
the island.
we don't
Yeah.
know where the people
Oh,
are
yeah.
on the island. I mean, did he die on the island and that's why she has a gravestone? Or is it like Ben said, like you have to pretend that they died in the crash because that's their story, right? That's the little mystery, I guess.
If
that
Ben's
they're
trying to
leaving
protect the island, but 6 people are going away, then the 6 people that are there, knowing that what could happen if people flock there, what Ben might do if people flock there, they'd be trying to protect the people there. So there's all kinds of weird
Release the
motivations.
gas. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So my best moments were when Jin comes to the tent and forgives Sun for fucking around, and then when it's revealed that Michael is on the ship.
Yeah.
But no Walt. And yes, the worst moment was the cemetery scene.
Yeah. Did the Michael thing surprise you,
Yes.
Derek? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm glad.
Absolutely.
That's great.
And paused and said, "What the fuck?"
You did? Oh, that's great.
There's where he is. Damn.
Benjamin, what's your best worst?
A couple best. I mean, obviously Michael showing up, or Kevin Johnson, whatever, showing up on the boat. That was great. Another one was when with Juliet basically just says your wife cheated on you, and then Sun slaps the shit out of her. That was a really fun scene.
Yeah.
I'd say,
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, visiting the grave or whatever was bad, but I never, like when I got here, I remember when I first watched this, I didn't believe Jin was dead. So it didn't really hit me the same way. I'd say I thought the worst scene was the just completely inept Dr. Bebe saying that she was going to have a C-section, then all of a sudden be like, oh, never mind, she's crowning. Like,
Yep.
that was goofy as shit.
Yeah, it was.
True. That is true. All right. Ben, why don't you just keep going? Give us your characters and your fucking kill.
I only had one bottom. It was Kimi, just because he shows up and he's so date rapey. I just can't stand him.
Yeah, he's pretty awful.
For my top 3, in the bronze spot, I have Jin. In the silver spot, I got Sun, and in the top spot, I've got Juliet, because she ultimately, she was like adhering to the Hippocratic Oath. She was doing what she had to do to make sure that her, first do no harm. And if that meant telling a hard truth and doing something that was maybe harmful to the relationship, but good for her patient's health. So tough decision. And so let's see. I'm going to fuck Sun, and I'm going to kill Michael because
Oh my
fuck
God.
him. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
He's back for 2 seconds. We don't even know
Yeah,
why.
I just
And
popped him
fuck
right there. Put another blood spot. He's not even going to clean that
Now,
up.
he's a murderer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For real.
That's true.
And
what about
Ben's
you?
man on the boat, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. What about you, Christy? What were your rankings this week?
So I just want to point out that if I was really intentionally trying to tank Ben Linus, then I would have him in my bottom and in my kill right here. But he wasn't even really in the episode. So
okay,
True.
I accept your defense.
Bottom. Third from the bottom is Kimi, because he's gross. Next we have Dr. Ray, because he's just creepy as fuck. And then Captain Galt. I don't trust him, even though he's being very forthcoming. I don't trust him.
Okay.
In my top, third from the top, Hurley. He makes the trip all the way to Korea to see the baby.
Oh, yeah.
Juliet, and then Sun. I'm going to fuck Hurley, and I'm going to kill Captain Galt.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. All right.
Hating on the captain.
You know what? In my bottom, I had Dr. Ray second. I had Captain Galt first. I should have put Kimi. Maybe I'll do that now. It's going to change the score, Ben, so watch it. Because I forgot to put him there, but you're right. He's disgusting, and he deserves it.
It was
so I'm
hard to
adding
find
him.
a worst, but then I thought of him. I'm like, there we go.
Yeah. Seaman Date Rape is now in my rankings. And I don't trust Captain Galt either. I'm going to trust Michael, who's working for Ben, which sounds crazy, but I don't know. I don't trust the captain. I was told not to, and I'm not going to. Third best, I have Juliet for basically all the reasons that Ben already articulated. I have Sun above that because she was just a badass through the whole thing. And at the top, I have Jin because he accepted his part in what happened to their marriage and he moved past it. And he is supporting her now. And that is big. I have 2 honorable mentions, but instead of just mentioning them honorably, I'm going to fuck them. So I'm going to have a threesome with Hurley and Saeed because they had minor bits in this, but they were both fucking spectacular in those moments. And then I'm going to kill Dr. Ray because I don't like his fucking face. And that's what I have to say about that. Derek, round us out. What you got?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to find worst, but after some digging, I found the second worst was Dr. Ray. And my worst was Kimi,
So you like the captain? You trust the captain?
I don't know 100% trust, but he seemed pretty forthcoming, maybe too forthcoming. You don't know.
Okay.
But I didn't get a bad vibe off of him. So my best, actually, in third, I put Bernard because he kind of, helped patch the Sun and Jin thing up a little bit with his karma speech.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Second was Jin, and first was Sun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to fuck Sun.
All right.
And kill Kimi.
That sounds all reasonable to me. Ben, how many ties do we have after episode 7?
Only one tie. It's a lot of the other stuff is sort of at the top. It's clarified quite a bit. So at the bottom, we have a tie for third bottom, and it's 2 of the doctors. It's Dr. Bitchface and Dr. Ray.
Wow,
tied with negative 24 points.
Okay.
Miles still in second place with negative 25, and Kimi off to a roaring herpetic start with negative 45 points.
Whoa. Yeah, he's awful. He is going to run away with the bottom this season. I absolutely fucking guarantee it.
So at the top in bronze, we've got Dan Faraday actually dropping from first to third, still with 42
Holy
points.
Cow. Just like that.
Just like that. And we have Hurley jumping into the second spot with 44 points, and Juliet just edging him out with 45 points.
Wow.
Damn, girl, look at you. Oh, fuck. Where's Ben Linus? Where's Ben Linus? He's not on the top anymore. Oh, is he?
I don't know.
He's at 37 points. So, he's back with Desmond. He and Desmond would be tied for fourth place.
Oh,
okay. All right. So they're still in the mix. Okay.
Yeah.
This is exciting. Top ranking, season 4. I'm loving it. Hey, guys, let's do some final impressions. How about Miss Christy?
I loved this episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really great. The whole Michael reveal, Sun having her baby. It's just great episode. Loved it. Definitely liked it better than the last one.
All right. Ben, how about you? What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like the best episodes, like the ones with Desmond and Penny. It's a relationship episode. It's about the, those ties that bind. And I think it was, typically when you have this many flash forwards and flashbacks, it feels it's kind of stilted, like it doesn't really flow well. But in this episode, they actually were able to thread it together pretty well. I like that they tried to kind of not so much fool you, but they wanted to give you kind of Jin and Sun's story in parallel, but then they start to kind of drop those Easter eggs or drop those hints that the Jin that you see in the flash, the flash forwards is not the same Jin you see on the island. So you go, so I thought that was pretty clever. I really liked, this was a strong episode for the women. Juliet had a really, really strong showing. And I think again, her kind of showing what she's made of, showing her medal. And so, yeah.
Showing
and
herself up to that gold medal.
Yeah.
At least
and
temporarily.
then sort of also basically Captain Galt sort of like that vomiting all of that stuff all in kind of one paragraph sort of tied a lot of things together. It was almost like an exposition dump where it was just like, okay, here's all the stuff, and it sort of tied it together. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty strong episode. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. I did as well. I love the Sun and Jin love story. I think there's a pretty, big debate out there which one is better, the Penny Desmond or the Sun and Jin. But they're both definitely on the top.
Yeah, Bernard and Rose.
Well, they're in that television history, both of those couples will be known. And yeah, the reveals, I guess, we knew it was Widmore's ship, or we knew Ben claimed it was. So now we get that confirmation. That's huge. Desmond hearing that is huge. And then, of course, Kevin Johnson. That one certainly fucking comes out of nowhere. I can remember seeing that for the first time. I think I probably did the same thing as you, Derek. Paused my TiVo and said,
TiVo.
What the fuck? But yeah, just excellent episode. I highly enjoyed it. Derek, what did you think of Yeon, and did it raise questions for you?
Yeah, it was a really good episode. It was sad because we find out that Jin is dead, or is he? We find out Sun is the last of the Oceanic Six, and that she has a daughter and does not die. And I like their interaction on the island, and how Juliet, was trying to, get her to leave so she wouldn't die. And then we find out that Kevin Johnson is none other than Michael. So some questions is, what is he doing on the freighter?
Mopping.
Mopping, yeah, he is. He's swabbing the poop deck. How and why does someone fake an entire plane crash and recovery at the bottom of the ocean? And how did Jin die, and why is his date of death the day of the crash? And is he really dead?
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of questions in this one.
Yeah, you do. And they're great questions, and they're things that you will get answers to, some of them, next week. Because it's episode 8. It's called Meet Kevin Johnson. It's a Michael episode. Johnson? It's a Michael episode, and it's a Ben episode, and we get to find out how the fuck Michael became Ben's man on the boat. We'll see you then next week. Bye.
Bye.
Lost in My 40s is a Space Bear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacey J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trimp. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook and SpaceBear_Media on Instagram and Threads. Plus, follow Space Bear Media on YouTube for extra video content. Or for everything in one place, go to spacebearmedia.com.